What's going on YouTube and y'all squad? This your boy Yakatees. Video number 2. Hopefully they upload in sequential order, chronological order. If not, whatever. But it's still video number 2. Love and Marriage, DC. So we pick up where we left off with the producer speaking to Mo and Chris. Mo doesn't want to beat a dead horse, but unfortunately that's what you've been doing since since the start of this season, this series, just keeping it 1,000. Chris is told to help tell the story from his lens. So rather than just killing the scene, try to get it to where we can like the viewer can understand what it is that you're going through from your lens and not just her lens. Mo says, when she has these conversations, she's not trying to tear him down. She feels they're off balance and wants the balance back. And, she gets choked up, which, okay, I can definitely see that. Chris says he's trying to figure it out as well. He feels that since he's there every night, hands on with the kids, providing that everything is okay, and most men feel that way. Most men are not they don't think emotionally and in depth. And this was his aha moment. And the reality is, most men are not cultivated like that. I say it all the time that most men are pretty much brought up to where the only emotion that you can feel is joy and pretty much anger, and every emotion that stems from anger. Because any other emotion in between, you weak, you that, you can't cry, you can't show this. So a lot of men are emotionally stunted. So because we are told to suppress this emotion and that emotion, when eventually, since you can't suppress it, the next thing is anger, and now you're lashing out physically, verbally, emotionally, psychologically, and it's just not good. So I'm glad that he's being able to see it, and I understand part of the frustration for Monique, even though I feel like she's doing a little bit, doing the most. But I do understand where she's been putting in the work and she really wants to see him change. And it's like she's at that, because had this been them in the very beginning, because she's worked so long, she could go at this snail's pace with him. But because she's endured this for so long, even though he's putting forth the effort, it's not enough in her eyes. So I do get it. I just feel that she's doing a whole lot, and I really hope and pray that this is real and she's not playing with her marriage. Anyway, we get Jamie and Brittany. Brittany is Irana's daughter. Wants him to put up a nightstand, but that's pretty much her way, to talk about the dinner that they had, and pretty much just told him you don't listen. Okay, you always trying to check somebody, but I'ma check you, and he says that he gonna do a better job of listening. So we get Mo and Winter. So Mo, slightly talks about her trip. Winter tells Mo, it's too. I'm sorry. Winter thinks Monique is too hard on Chris. I can see it. The lunch is rehashed. She addresses Quick as DJ Fun Size. Mo says, Ashley told me she used to be a mean girl. Winter apparently feels that Irena feels they have an issue because of that, and feels Irena is playing both sides. Which I'm like, I guess, but I don't really see it. I can't really be on Winter's side too much with that. Um, but yeah, that DJ Fun Size, yeah, that's gonna come back. We yeah, if it's not addressed during the season, that's going to come up at the reunion. Trust me. So Winter brings up Ashley being judgmental and how she heard things about Quick, but hasn't brought that stuff up. And she doesn't want DJ Fun Size or Mr. Falling Asleep at a red light, because Monique have made a little smart comment like, oh, maybe you want they men, and she like, no, no. So yeah, and again, I'm not mad at Winter for saying none of what she said. I just wish that she had this energy and said all of this to the women's face. But and we'll get to that in a minute. So we get Jamie and Irena. So they're at the School of the Blind. I couldn't get the exact name, but they're there. They're playing goalball, which is a sport that Jason plays, where pretty much Everybody's blindfolded, even for those who are visually impaired. There's a ball with a noise making device. I want to say a bell in it, and it's it's almost like soccer, but with the hands or whatever. Nevertheless, they're playing the game. Um, and this is the first time that the family has ever played, and a lot of them is like, oh my god, I kind of see what Jason has to deal with, kind of experiencing something, which I mean, I get it, but at the same time, not trying to make light of it. But I mean, you could easily put a blindfold on while you at home and try to, maneuver and walk around. Like, there's ways to put yourself into somebody else's shoes. But okay, again, I'm not trying to be a douche here. I'm just anyway. So Jamie talks to Jason. He says that he heard him at dinner, and he does what he does to help him. Cool, got it. You heard him, whatever. And Jason, we find out, has been accepted to the Doors program, so good for him. And I can't wait to see what comes of that. But that is great. So we get Ashley, Elisa, Chris, who is her friend and her co-host. This is the Fun Time Mom event. So while the kids are away, the parents will play. So the kids are at school. So the moms get to hang out together and do some day drinking. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Hell, I do day drinking, morning drinking, night drinking, drinking. I get it. Hell, I ain't got no kids, but I still does it now. So you got Monique. So you have all the women, the main cast women there. Monique brings up her convo with Winter and mentions Winter felt ambushed. Now, let me preface what I'm about to say is I know we're shooting the show. But at the same exact time, I also feel like, Mo, you've thrown events and whatnot, and you understand, like, when somebody is doing something where their business is involved, not really the time to bring up stuff such as that. But again, we're shooting the show. But it's that whole thing of, would you like it if it was done to you? Okay. So Arena and Ashley, said Winter is the one that started it. Mo mentions the straddling of the fence, when it comes to, I guess, Irena. Ashley feels Winter is playing the victim role like, she's doing in her current marriage. I'm just like, oh, Ashley. But again, Ashley ain't come to play, so I'm just like, all right, well, we finna get cutthroat Ashley, which, hey, it is what it is. So Mo then brings up what Winter said about Quit. And this, yeah, Ashley wasn't here for it. And it's like, there's a ways you could have talked about the situation. And I'm sorry, even though Monique was just like, did I do that? You know exactly what you did. You've been on reality television for a hot minute. You were you were producing a scene. You knew what you were doing. Like, let's not play dumb. And please don't play on the intelligence of the viewers, because we know better. So the ladies are confused. Winter enters. Ashley, off rip, asks her, what did you tell me about my husband? Because, Mo had said, because, Winter told you. So you're like, well, what did you tell me? And Winter says, I didn't tell you, but I asked. Winter doubles down on it, being an ambush. Ashley said, you called me aggressive, and I apologize. Winter says that came after. I want to say semantics, but I guess if we're going chronologically, then okay, whatever. Ashley doesn't know what's going on in that half-shaped head of Winter's, but she's not telling the truth. And I don't think that it's not like she's not telling the truth. I think that, well, part of it is that, but the information got misconstrued in this game of telephone. Winter brings up Arena asking if things were, solved with her and Ashley, and her playing both sides. Arena felt like things should have been, dead after the luncheon. Like, y'all talked, we toast, we did all that. So her asking is just confirming, like, y'all good, right? Because all that happened, and we ended on a good note. And it's just, and that was a conversation starter. It was an iceberg. It wasn't her playing both sides. Winter says, they've all heard about Quit. Ashley says, we know about yours. So you may have heard about my husband, but we know about your ex-husband and your current husband. Ashley is not here for it. Now, I will say, because never mind. Actually, no, I'm about to get there. Alicia comes over, kind of like break the thing up because again, it is an event for them. I will say, I don't think in my eyes the event was fully realizing. I knew exactly what the overall goal was, other than we just gonna sit here and daydream because the kids back in school. But I really felt like Ashley should have been, aware of that, like, okay, we're at my event and we can still have this conversation, just not amongst all of these other women that I have invited here. But I guess once her husband was brought up, I mean, hey, she went on the attack. So, hey, it is what it is. um, Winterfield's Ashley. Oh, wait. Oh, victim shames. Says she doesn't want to be there. And at that point, she's told to leave. And once she threw that out, yeah, then you have Ashley calling her a victim and all this other stuff. Where it's like, okay, well, since this got on her skin, I'm gonna say it. Mo says she was trying to get understanding. Okay, Mo. Winter says she mixed things up. And one thing that I can appreciate is because all the women pretty much told her, just like, you wrong for this. But I appreciate, even though Monique is the nucleus of the group, because, typically with shows like this, people try not to come for the nucleus, especially in their first season. But the women not really can. Just like, okay, no, y'all got us messed up. So Winter leaves, and Ashley pretty much says she doesn't want to be around Winter anymore. Just like that. That's just that on that. So we get Raina and Jamie. Okay, I'm doing good on this. They have real estate investment business. They're looking at one of their properties. It's been over a year since they've seen it. Iran is frustrated because, he was showing out the night prior. So I'm going to just talk to y'all about what it was and not really look at the notes. So pretty much, the way all this happened is, so she was at the event. She was at Ashley's event. All that drama happened and whatnot. So that is still sitting on her spirit. Jamie is hosting an event where it's her best friend's birthday party. So she goes there hoping like, okay, this is going to be a release. Well, when Jamie is working, there are sometimes stressors, which, some of us, we do get stressed when we're at work. And she asked him to come outside. So he wants to park the car. She pulls up. Now, I'm sorry. So he comes out with a drink. He's kind of yelling at her, and it's not that he's not mad at her. It's just, whatever's going on. And he's like saying, come on, get out the car, whatever, whatever. So she pulls up to get closer to the door because she was parked in the middle of the street. She has on heels. So, she's trying to make things easier for her. In his mind, I asked you to get out the car so I can park it. You just pulled off, even though she only pulled up. So there's, a misunderstanding and whatnot. So then he begins, from what she says, to yell. He says that he didn't, but kind of confirms that he did. And she said that she felt embarrassed because he was like, well, it was only 3 people out. She was like, no, it was more than that. But there were also people on the balcony and whatnot. And she was mad because she missed her friend's party. He was just like, but that's your fault. Why did you double book yourself? And she's just like, I had every intent on going in, but I just dealt with a stressful situation. I come here. You're now yelling at me. You have misplaced anger and aggression. All these people looking at us and trying to figure out who he yelling at, and it was just too much for her, and she left and then had to explain that to her friend later. And she was just trying to get him to understand. It was like, hey, like sometimes you when work gets too heavy, you yell at me, and it is an issue. Now he said to her, pretty much, how I get. So if you see that I'm mad, in essence, you need to adjust course. Not necessarily. If you know that you mad, you can only control you. You don't control her, and look, y'all. I told y'all, like, I'm not even going to go down this route because I feel that I'm going to say something. I told y'all, just based off of what Jamie has shown me, I don't like it. He comes off as being very misogynistic, chauvinistic, and all this other stuff. So I'm going to just leave that where it's at. But they pretty much, hug it out. Jamie apologizes, and they went and got some food afterwards. So that's it. That's all. Yeah, next is going to be The Real Housewives of Atlanta. So rate, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will see y'all then.